So now we're going to take our full length measurement. The full length I'm working with is 39 inches plus 2 inches, and that is 41 inches. So just going to take that. From the center front, I'm going to come out by 1 inch, as you see me doing, and I'm going to mark it straight. I'm going to be imputing my crouch measurement. I used 10 inches for my crouch, then I used 8.5 inches for my hip. So to get your crouch, you can just divide your hip by 4, whatever you get, you can use that as your crouch. So for my crouch, I'm going to divide my lap measurement by 2, and I'll add ½ inch to it. So your lap circumference divided by 2 and add ½ inch to it. Then for my hip line, I'm going to divide my hip measurement by 4, and I'm going to impute that. I'm not adding any allowance to that. So for my waistline, I'm still going to impute my hip measurement for my waistline. So just going to connect it like so. To the crouch line. So for my crouch line, I'm going to come up by 1 inch. I'm just going to make a mark at that. Then from my hip line, I'm going to make a curve to the crouch line, like so. So now we're going to be imputing our knee measurement. The knee length I'm working with is 21 inches. So now for my crotch line, I'm going to divide that point into 2, as you see me doing. And whatever I have, I'm going to mark it, and that will be the middle of the trouser. So we don't want it to be shifting. So whatever you had when you divide it like I did, you're just going to impute it like that, and we're going to draw a straight line. We don't want the back to be shifting to the front, as it normally happens for some trousers. So that's why we're using this gray line. So now I'm going to divide my knee circumference by 2, and whatever I have, I'm going to impute it. To get my ankle measurement, I'm going to minus 1 inches from my knee circumference. So if your knee circumference is 19 inches, minus 1 inch from it, and whatever you get, divide it by 2 and impute it. So that is what I did. So now we're just going to connect all the lines. So I learned this method from Style by Shay on YouTube, and I decided to give it a try to see what it looks like, because I'm self-taught. So let's see how this goes. So the measurement I'm taking now is my actual waist measurement. You're going to take your waist measurement divided by 4, and I added 1 inch for that. So I'm just going to connect the waist to the hip line. So the trouser is taking shape already. So from the waist, we're going to come down by 1 inch, and we're going to mark that because we'll be cutting that out, because we do not want the front of the trouser to have any bulge. So I'm just going to come down like that, and I'm just going to make that slant like this. So this is the front piece, and we're going to cut that out. So this is how it is. So we're going to place the front on top of the back to cut. So I'm just replicating all those lines: the hip line, the crouch line, and the knee line. So for the crouch, I'm going to add 2.5 inches to the crouch line. My knee line, I'm going to add 2 inches, and I'm going to add 2 inches to the bottom of the trouser. So for my waist, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches. Then for the waist, I'm going to take my actual waist measurement, and I'm going to add 3.5 inches allowance to it. So I hope you understand. So just going to make a slant like this. So now we're going to connect our lines together from the waist to the crouch to the end of the trouser. So for the crouch, you can decide to add 3 inches, 3.5, depending on how big your client is. So now this is what the back look like. You know, we did not add any seam allowance to the front, so we are adding all the allowance to the back of the trouser. So now we're just going to cut the back out, and this is how to draft your straight pants. So I'm going to be dropping another tutorial on this my channel on how to sew this pants. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. See you in my next video.